Good afternoon, everyone, especially to you, Sir Earl. And we are the Group 3. We are here to discuss our report about human condition. X daw. So, eudaimonia literally means God's Spirit. Eudaimonia is a Greek term that literally means God's Spirit. Was coined by the philosopher Aristotle 385 to 323 BC. It refers to the highest form of happiness that a human can achieve, which goes beyond temporary pleasure and involves a deep sense of fulfillment. So, in modern literature and philosophy, eudaimonia is often translated as human flourishing. So, eudaimonia comes from the Greek words good and daimon is spirit of inner guiding force. It implies that person is in a state of inner harmony where their actions align with their true nature. Example, a person who lives with a kindness and integrity, helping others selflessly may feel a deep sense of inner peace and fulfillment. So, eudaimonia as the pinnacle of happiness, according to Aristotle, happiness is not just about feeling good but about living a life or virtue and purpose. So, eudaimonia is achieved by fulfilling one's potential and living according to reason and moral excellence. So, for example, a scientist who dedicates their life to diseases or a teacher who passionately educates students experiences eudaimonia because they are living out their purpose. Human flourishing modern is interpretation. So this has often been translated into human flourishing in literature. So in a modern literature and psychology, eudaimonia is often interpreted as human flourishing, meaning ang life is mag-growth siya purpose and contribution sa atong society. It involves intellectual, moral, o emotional well-being rather than just ang material success or pleasure. So, example ani niya kay a community that promotes education, equality, and meaningful relationship among its members fosters eudaimonia because people can thrive in all aspects of life. So, eudaimonia is more than just happiness. It's about living meaningful and fulfilling life where a person reaches their full potential. So, Aristotle is believed that by practicing like courage, wisdom, and kindness, a person can achieve true happiness that is long lasting and deeply. Mora to. Thank you. Next report.
Human flourishing, an effort to achieve self-actualization and fulfillment within the context of a larger community of individuals, each with the right to pursue his or her own such efforts. So human flourishing has been a topic of philosophical and theological discussion for centuries. Its root in Aristotelian ethics and values. Health intrinsically is important because it promotes the growth and development of individuals and populations. Next. Human flourishes and finds meaning in the world that she builds. Human may unconsciously acquire, consume, or destroy what the world has to offer. So human flourishing is a process of developing the capacities, strength, and virtues of the individual in different areas of their life. It is a conscious process that responds to personal condition, purpose, and actions, and is interrelated with the condition of the social and environmental context. It, therefore, making it an itself. Example is human flourishing is a process of development. Human flourishing is a link to the stage of life in which the individual need, interests, beliefs, and activities change. Therefore, their flourishing also shifts throughout their development. Next, their Porter.
Wait lang. So, uh, science as method and results. So, first is formulate questions. Your science fair project questions. Once you have chosen a topic of interest, you will need to create a related scientific question. Without a good question, your whole science fair project will be much harder, if not impossible. It is important to select questions that is going to be interesting to work on for at least a few weeks, and that is specific enough to allow you to find the answer with a simple experiment. A scientific question usually starts with how, what, when, who, which, why, or where. Here are some characteristics of a good science fair project questions. The questions should be interesting enough to read about, then work on for the next few weeks. There should be at least 3 sources of rating information on the subject. You want to be able to build on the experience of others. The questions should contain one factor variable that you can change in your experiment, and at least one factor variable that you can measure. So number 2, generate hypothesis. The hypothesis is an educated guess as to what will happen during your experiment. The hypothesis is often written using the word if and then. For example, if I do not study, then I will fail the best. I will fail the test. The if and then statements reflect your independent and dependent variables. Number 3 is gathering data. So, gathering data in the scientific method is the process of systematically collecting information to test your hypothesis. This information can take many forms depending on your research question and hypothesis. The key is that the data collection must be systematic and repeatable so that others could potentially replicate your study and obtain similar results. So there are types of data. Quantitative data. This is numerical data often obtained through measurements. It's ideal for statistical analysis. Number 2 is qualitative data. This is descriptive data often obtained through observations, interviews, or open-ended surveys. It's useful for understanding context and exploring complex phenomena, but it's generally harder to analyze statistically. So, method of data collections. Experiments, control setting where you manipulate variable to observe their effects. Observation, then survey, sampling, data logging, using instruments to automatically record data such as sensor measuring temperature or pressure. So, important considerations, reliability. So your data collection method should be reliable, meaning they produce consistent results if repeated under similar conditions. Validity, your data should be valid, meaning it actually measures what it's intended to measure. So in summary, gathering data is a critical step in the scientific method. The choice of data type and collection method will depend on the research question and hypothesis, but the process should always be systematic, reliable, and valid. So number 4 is analyze your data and draw conclusions. Once your experiment is complete, you collect your measurements and analyze them to see if they support your hypothesis or not. Scientists often find that their predictions were not accurate and their hypothesis was not supported. And in such cases, they will communicate the results of their experiment and they go back and construct a new hypothesis and prediction based on the information they learned during their experiment. This starts much as the process of scientific method over again. Even if they find that their hypothesis was supported, they may want to test it again in a new way. So, communicate results, take actions. To complete your science fair project experiment. This starts much as the process of scientific method over again. Even if they find that their hypothesis was supported, they may want to test it again in a new way. So, communicate results, take actions. To complete your science fair project, you will communicate your results to others in a final report and or a display board. Professionally, scientists do almost exactly the same thing by publishing their final report in a scientific journal or by presenting their results on a poster or during a talk at a scientific meeting. In science fair, judges are interested in your findings regardless of whether or not they support your original hypothesis. So, next reporter, please.
Madungog ko.
Madungog.
So, falsification theory means that a theory must make prediction that can be proven wrong. It should be possible to find evidence that contradicts the theory or shows it to be false. For example, all swans are white. This is a testable and falsifiable theory. If you observe a swan and it is white, it supports the theory but doesn't prove it true. And if someone observes a black swan, the statement all swans are white is proven false, which makes it testable and falsifiable according to Popper's theory. However, if you find a black swan, the theory is falsified. The existence of a black swan would contradict the hypothesis, so the theory must be revised or discarded. Verification theory. According to this theory, a statement or claim is meaningful only if it can be empirically verified or logically proven. Or other words, for a statement to be meaningful, there must be some way to observe or test it through experience or reasoning. For example, claim that the sun will rise tomorrow. According to verification theory, this claim is meaningful because it can be verified by sensory experience. With tomorrow's comes, one can observe the sun rising. So, next reporter.
So, these bullet points describe the social aspect of science and the perspective championed by several influential philosophers. So, the social nature of science. The first point highlights that prominent figures like Paul Taggart, Emre Lakatos, Helen Longino, David Bloor, and Richard Rotary viewed science not as an isolated, objective pursuit but as a fundamental social activity. Their work emphasizes the influence of social factors such as collaboration, communication, and the prevailing cultural context on the development and acceptance of scientific knowledge. This contrasts with a more traditional view of science as purely objective and value free. So this view pursues a dimension which generally benefits society. So argues that this social view of science ultimately benefits society by acknowledging the social dimensions of scientific progress, we can better understand how biases or power dynamics and social structures might influence scientific findings. This awareness can lead to more inclusive and equitable scientific practices, ensuring that scientific advancements serve the broader interest of society rather than specific groups or agendas. It also suggests that scientific progress is not solely determined by individual but also by the collaborative efforts and social instructors that support it. Next. The pragmatic aspect of now how science is perceived and accepted, particularly by those who may not have a deep understanding of its underlying principles of methodologies. It suggests that the effectiveness and demonstrable results of a scientific disciplines are key factors in gaining acceptance, even among those who may not fully grasp the theoretical foundation. In essence, results serve as a powerful tool or any initial skepticism or lack of comprehension. And then such discipline or religion lack and human randomness is the statement contrasts disciplines that procedures demonstrable result like science with those that rely on faith, change, or unpredictable human behavior. Or religion, luck, and human randomness are presented as examples of systems where outcomes are not consistently predictable or explained by established principles. The implication is that while this system might sometimes yield positive results, they lack the systematic evidence-based approach that characterize successful scientific disciplines. The contrast highlights and then the importance of the verify the result and systematic methodology and establishing a discipline credibility. Next reporter.
In 2000, world leaders signed the Millennium Development Goals, or the MDG, that targets 8 concerns, one of which states that they should be able to forge global partnership for development. So these goals aim to address global challenges such as poverty, education, gender equality, and health. So the 8 MDGs were, first one is the eradicate extreme poverty and hunger. So to reduce the proportion of people living on less than around $1.25 a day and those suffering from hunger. The second one is the achieve universal primary education. This will ensure that all children, boys and girls alike, completely primary school. The third one is the promote gender equality and empower women. This will eliminate gender disparities in education and increase women's participation in decision making. The fourth one is the reduced child mortality. This aims to decrease the under 5 mortality rate. The fifth one is the improve maternal health, reduce the maternal mortality, and ensure access to reproductive health services. And then the sixth one is the combat HIV, AIDS, malaria, and other diseases, health, and reverse the spread of major diseases. The pito kay ensure environmental sustainability. This will integrate sustainable development principles, reduce biodiversity loss, and improve access to safe drinking water and sanitation. The last one is develop a global partnership for development. This will strengthen international cooperation, fair trade, debt relief, and access to technology and essential medicines. These goals were succeeded by the Sustainable Development Goals in 2015, which expanded on the MDGs with a broader and more inclusive framework. So those are the 8 concerns na gitarget ni Millennium Development Goals na ilahang ma-accomplish within 2015. However, there are some setbacks in this. Economists believe that growth is the primary indicator of development. In that, resources are needed. So, in summary, while economic growth is important for development, growth alone is not sufficient to achieve true, sustainable, and equitable development. It requires a careful management of resources, inclusive policies, strong institutions, and a focus on quality of growth rather than its quantity. Economic growth must be paired with efforts to ensure social justice, environmental sustainability, and improvement of human well-being for it to lead to genuine development. Technology has been a primary instrument in enabling the global community to pursue such goals like utilizing resources, machineries, and labor. Yet, technology is indeed the primary instrument that enables the global community to pursue development goals. It allows for efficient use of resources, advances in machinery and automation, improvements in labor productivity, and fosters global collaboration. With the right deployment of technologies, nation can accelerate progress toward sustainable development, tackle pressing global challenges like poverty and climate change, and also create a more interconnected, prosperous world. But however, ensuring that technology is accessible and drinking water and sanitation. The last one is develop a global partnership for development. This will strengthen international cooperation, fair trade, debt relief, and access to technology and essential medicines. These goals were succeeded by the Sustainable Development Goals in 2015, which expanded on the MDGs with a broader and more inclusive framework. So those are the 8 concerns na gitarget ni Millennium Development Goals na ilahang ma-accomplish within 2015. However, there are some setbacks in this. Economists believe that growth is the primary indicator of development. In that, resources are needed. So, in summary, while economic growth is important for development, growth alone is not sufficient to achieve true, sustainable, and equitable development. It requires a careful management of resources, inclusive policies, strong institutions, and a focus on quality of growth rather than its quantity. Economic growth must be paired with efforts to ensure social justice, environmental sustainability, and improvement of human well-being for it to lead to genuine development. Technology has been a primary instrument in enabling the global community to pursue such goals like utilizing resources, machineries, and labor. Yet, technology is indeed the primary instrument that enables the global community to pursue development goals. It allows for efficient use of resources, advances in machinery and automation, improvements in labor productivity, and fosters global collaboration. With the right deployment of technologies, nation can accelerate progress toward sustainable development, tackle pressing global challenges like poverty and climate change, and also create a more interconnected, prosperous world. But however, ensuring that technology is accessible and used equitably across the globe is essential to achieve inclusive development for all. Next reporter.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, how much is too much? So, these slides introduce the central theme, the limitation of unchecked growth. The argument is that an equation focused only on growth ignores crucial factors, creating an illusion of sustainability. This points out that this applies not just to economic growth but also to our reliance on nature's resources. The question how much is too much implies there's a limit to how much we can consume and grow before exceeding the Earth's carrying capacity. Please. So, technology as a way of revealing. It uses a visual metaphor to illustrate how technology can help us understand and address the limitation of growth. So as we can see, there's people pulling ropes connected to various social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Insta, and Link. So this represents the interconnectedness of our world facilitated by technology. The summary and toolbox suggests that technology provides tools for collecting, analyzing, and summarizing data related to resource consumption, environmental impact, and social trends. It also serves as a powerful tool for uncovering hidden information, patterns, and insights. It allows us to see things we couldn't see before, leading to better understanding and decision making. The implication is that by using these technological tools, we can better understand the complexities of growth and its consequences, revealing the point at which too much is reached. So technology doesn't just create, it helps us see and understand the world more clearly. Thank you. Next reporter, please. So, human condition for Earth's primal need to survive paved the way for the invention of several developments. So early human survival instincts led to innovations like tools and shelters, enhancing their adaptability and survival. So the next one is the Homo erectus have been using fire to cook, marking the era of the Stone Age. So Homo erectus control of fire-enabled cooking, providing warmth, protection, and a means to prepare food, significantly impacting their evolution. Third one is the Homo sapiens began to sharpen stones like knives. So Homo sapiens developed advanced stone tools through techniques like pressure flaking, enhancing their efficiency in processing. So the last one is the people discovered minerals and began metalwork. So the discovery of minerals led to metalworking, allowing the creation of stronger tools and weapons, which revolutionized various aspects of daily life. Next, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, the human condition in the Common Era. Formation of communities caused humans to expand more in territory and more people to feed. Large separate communities hailing from the same ancestors pave way for civilization. So, first, kaning civilization, kumbaga ko na siya, mas dako na siya compare sa communities. Communities kay ko na siya, murag ang smaller version sa civilization. Pero kuan gyud po na sila, puy-anan sa mga tao, no. So mas nagkadagan ng tao, nagkadagan po ang angay pagkanon. So humanity became more complex. So unsa may meaning sa complex? So kaning complex, balik. So humanity became more complex. So unsa may meaning sa complex? So kaning complex is complicated na siya nga word, but basically ang meaning sa complex kay kanang kumbaga gasagol-sagol nga mga butang ba. Sa una, ang human is kanang ang trabaho lang sa mga tao is maghunt para silang food. Sa una to, tapos pero karon nanatay money. So nanatay mga lain-lain yung trabaho, nanatay mga technology, na internet. So complex na ang humanities karon, nanatay mga lain-lain ng mga butang nga gipambuhat. So the primary goal was not merely to survive. So again, ang point ako kanina, sa una maghunt tanan para maka-survive. But karon usually nanatay mga pangandoy nga madato nana. It's because naman humanity became more complex naman. So to live a good life. So next reporter please.
Human condition in the common era. So the statement position ways the humans of today are much better off compared to humans several centuries ago. So means general siya but tinuod sa books, but karon much easier kay i-search na lang jud siya through Google. Unlike before na kailangan pa jud ka maghago og pangitag books magsulat. So lastly, political and social rights. Before, many people, especially babae, has no rights to vote sa ilahang gusto i-vote, to speak freely and treat sila unfairness by the law. Also, discrimination exists kay they treat unfairly sa mga babae unlike sa lalaki before. Well, karon wala may perfect bisag asa or bisag unsa pa ka, but karon is naanay rights ang mga babae to vote, to speak what's right, and also karon is mustand na sila as captain, as kapitan, mayor or unsa pa na nga leader kay makita or ma-observe man jud nato ang mga babae is naa jud sila kakayahan, dili man sa tanan aspect, but they have potential to stand. And also naanay law karon nga nagprotect sa mga tao from discrimination and many more. They fight for equal rights kay pareha raman ta tao tanan. So dili man siguro sala na we treat everyone fairly. That's all, next reporter.
Notable comparison then and now. So, sa una, ang science and technology kay dili pa kayo siya kaning na-improve. Dagan kay mga matay sa una. And yes. Tungod sa diseases, poor sanitation, o lack of medical care, many people, especially infants and mothers, died from preventable illnesses. Pero karon kay advanced naman itong medicines ug mga healthcare systems, na reduce na ang mga deaths and improving overall survival rates. The average lifespan has also increased previously. People died young due to malnutrition, mga infections, mga lack of treatment. Then literacy rates have improved as well. Education was once limited to the wealthy, and many people, especially in rural areas, had no formal schooling. Karon ang mga public schools mananay mga digital learning, mga nindot na. And global literacy efforts have made education more accessible, leading to better opportunities. Dayon ang GDP or gross domestic product has grown due to industrialization and technology. In the past, economies relied mostly on agriculture and manual labor. So dili kayong dakon GDP tungod ana. Karon kay modern industries kay nindot na siya, pa-boost na. Ora to next reporter.
So Martin Heidegger, a German philosopher and a seminal thinker in a continental tradition of philosophy, particularly in existentialism, phenomenology, and metaphysics. His work had a profound impact on the latter thinkers such as Jean-Paul Sartre, Jacques Derrida, and Michel Foucault. Martin Heidegger is widely acknowledged to be the one of the most original and important philosophers of the 21st century because he fundamentally reshaped the areas of philosophy including existentialism, phenomenology, hermeneutics, and metaphysics.
About we are the one
And also he redefines
to
the way
report
things.
the five artists and the artisan. Technology and
Next.
human creativity. The digital age provides instant access to fast information. Fear exists that machines and AI will replace human labor due to
Heidegger points out technological objects are means for ends
napatid sa
and
tao.
are built and operated by human beings. The essence of technology is something else entirely.
Monetizers.
Heidegger's view on technology is different than just
Excuse, dua mo ka storya.
Sorry.
He argued that the essence of technology is not technological meaning. It's not just about machines, gadgets, or system, but about a way of thinking that shape how we interact with the world. Heidegger isn't saying technology is
Ano ba
bad.
ito di ko nan pa di
He's warning that if we only see the world through a technological lens, we lose sight of deeper meanings. Next.
Sakan. The essence of technology is number one, to bring out of concealment. So it is a way of bringing forth what is hidden and the human curiosity into reality, making things present. Second, a way of revealing the totality of beings. It is a way in which to prove whether the human thought of creation can be achievable and true to itself. Lastly, prior to and by no means a consequences of the scientific revolution. It means the scientific revolutions root people to continuously develop and create as much tools and technology as they can to satisfy their thoughts and curiosity. That's all.